Ladies and gentlemen and fellow Diablo fans, or perhaps fellow exiles, I welcome you, as promised, to Torchlight 2. Yes, I'll be taking a look at it and seeing what I think about this game as I go along. I honestly think I'm going to enjoy it. I rather enjoyed the beta when I played through it, and I didn't get too far on it. I honestly don't know how much further I had to go in the beta until I would have been done. But I'm going to tell you right here and now that this almost didn't happen. I've been very frustrated with Torchlight 2 as of late. I did the poll, I had everything ready to go, and the engineer has won, by the way. And I sit down to play Torchlight 2, and what happens? It crashes on me. Right away, like within a few seconds. And it's not just one of those happy crashes of, oh, we're sorry, something seems to have gone wrong, let us shut down this application. No, this is one of those blue screens, fuck you kind of crashes. My computer would completely lock up and then reboot itself. Now, this isn't Torchlight's fault, to be honest with you. This is honestly my video card's fault. See, I have one of these EVGA GTX 570s, and it's an overclocked variant. And it appears that the overclocked part of this card was not meshing well with Torchlight 2. This is not the first game that's done this to me. It's actually the second. The first was Rusty Hearts. And that one took me a bit to figure out, and this one took me a bit as well because I didn't have problems in the beta, so I had no idea what was actually causing it for a long time. So thankfully I figured out, hey, I can underclock my card and it's going to work. So just thought I'd give you a little history on there, my frustrations there. So I'm going to actually be very happy to actually play the game. So let's get right into it. We're going to go into our new game here. And unfortunately, the background music kind of stopped there earlier. I was going to kind of stop and just kind of let you listen to it. The music of the startup screen here for Torchlight 2 is really great, and it evokes these memories that I have of playing Diablo 2, quite honestly. It's got that guitar theme that just evokes these memories in me. So already I'm feeling fairly nostalgic and liking what I see. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pick our engineer, since he pretty much won the poll. We have 6 different faces to choose from. Let's take a look at this fine gentleman here. Yes, very nice indeed. I think I like the dapper gentleman. We will go with him. 6 hairstyles, including bald. A bit of hair, bald with goggles, which of course is a bit redundant with the monocle, is it not? Yes, not bad. I think I will make him a fine balding gentleman. Different hair colors. Let us go with, I think, get a little seasoned. Not completely white, but perhaps a bit of gray. And of course, every good engineer should be named Sid. Here's something fairly new, I believe. The owl and the badger, I believe, were added fairly recently in a patch. Very interesting. I think I'm going to go ahead and play with the owl. That's kind of cool. And in homage to Sid, we'll name him Kane as for my favorite character in that series. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be taking a look at Torchlight 2. Oh yes, I nearly forgot. We have to choose a difficulty. We have casual. I am not really casual. We won't do that. We could do normal. Best for first-time players. Presents a wide range of challenge without requiring in-depth knowledge. No, I think I would rather go veteran. Familiar with Torchlight? I'm not entirely familiar with Torchlight, to be honest. I didn't get through the first game, and I haven't played enough of this one, but I'm familiar enough with action RPGs. I think we'll get away with this. I don't think we'll do Elite to start with. I could, but I want to give myself some leeway. So here we go, Veteran. Hey look, there's that single-player mode and land that everybody misses so much in Torchlight 2!
Beneath Torchlight, a darkness gathered. 3 heroes confronted the beast called Ordrak. Yet even in death, Ordrak's corrupted heart endured and called out. heroes may fall, hope may fade, but new heroes will arise.
And there we have our introduction, a very interesting animation style, but fairly fitting for the game. So everything looks much like I remember it. I can kind of zoom in to look at our bespectacled gentleman with our wonderful two-handed wrench. So, familiar options here. I have my pet menu. You can carry various items for me, buy consumables for me. I have my character frame, so I can put in stat points. Very familiar there. And lovely breakdowns here. Stats, 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 and more stats. Perfect. I enjoy stats. Alright, so in my inventory I have nothing as of yet. I'm going to mention this real quick. I'm not going to go into the skills just yet, but this is something that's changed from the beta here that came into launch that I really like, is they really clean this up. You can easily see that there's 7 skills per tree, and they've fixed a few problems that I had with the skill tree in general before. I'm going to mention this now, because when I did the beta, I said something that drew a little flack here, and I mentioned that I don't really care for skill trees. I said I don't like them. And honestly, I'd like to expound upon that. The truth is, I have an issue with certain types of skill trees, which is most of them, that a lot of them have a lot of fluff, a lot of things that are not interesting, that are kind of passive. Now, having passive skills can be kind of nice in that they allow you to customize your character. For example, Path of Exile is a pretty good example here. That one's nothing but passives. So that one I don't mind so much because it's designed around that, and you get skills through drops. It's skill trees that provide you abilities plus passives that I sometimes have problems with, because you can spend a lot of time leveling and just putting points into certain skills without seeing a major benefit to them and getting only minor incremental increases. And they've made this a bit better because they've made it so that yes, you do put points in, but they actually give you goals to achieve. So this time around you can get tier bonuses. Every time you put 5 points in, you get an additional bonus, and sometimes it can be a very nice big boon, or sometimes it's just a minor change. But there's definitely very real changes that will occur after you get to those points. So you can see here this tier 1 bonus is 5 splinters, tier 2 is 6, tier 3 is 7. So this is a nice hybrid system of what Diablo 3 has compared to Diablo 2. In Diablo 2 you had the skills that you put in, you just put in points, they got minorly better, and all of your abilities got damage increases on a very, I won't say linear scale, but the damage increases were set. You put a point into a skill and it might do 2 to 3 damage, then the next one might do 4 to 8 damage. In this, it combines that system of Diablo 2 with the weapon damage systems of, say, Diablo 3. So here my skills will inflict a percentage of my weapon's damage, and in this case it's actually part of my DPS, which I find to be a little interesting here. I'm not sure what I think about that one. It's because it says it's 68% of DPS, not necessarily the damage, because as we all know, we go in here, we'll see that this is a 27 damage per second weapon, but it does 25 to 50 damage. So all my skills will be balanced around not just the weapon's damage, but the attack speed of the weapons. So there's... until I get deeper into it, I can't say for sure, but that tells me that there might not be any abilities that will benefit more from a big two-hander. It means all of my abilities will benefit with just having a good weapon. Doesn't matter if it's a two-hander, one-hander, what have you. So all the skills should technically be just as good no matter what weapon, so I can build whatever type of character I want. So just looking at it that way, I think that this basing it off of DPS is going to be a good system. Time will tell. We also do have passives down here, so they do exist. Each tree has 3 passives, and we'll be looking at some of these as we go along. Some of them are pretty interesting. Some of them are the standard, like this one, attack speed and chance to stun. Some of them are pretty standard, but some of them do change it up a bit, so we'll be looking at that. Welcome to Torchlight 2. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and move forward. I think we've talked a bit there.
New recruit? What's your business here?
So these characters each have something different to say. You can click on them a few times. It's kind of nice to see. What I have noticed though... Okay, it's not doing it now. When I was trying it before, the text would fade if I didn't walk away and step back. So, hey, look, there's a horse. This horse seems important somehow. Oh, see, there it goes. It faded when it shouldn't have. What? Yes, the horse with no name. Absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead and move on.
I think this is as far as I can go. You should carry on to the Asterian Enclave, but you're on your own. Warn them that the alchemist destroyed Torchlight and is headed their way. He may be there already.
Okay, so wonderful. We get rewards of gold, experience, and items. This, honestly, I'll say it reminds me kind of WoW, where you would get a quest and then get items from that quest. Well, that's not a bad thing. So what do we start with? We're going to start with our Flame Hammer. Weapon crushes your foes that it strikes, creating 4 flaming splinters that seek out enemies within 5 meters. If available, a charge is consumed to generate 2 additional blasts. 14 mana, 68% of weapon DPS, and a 15% chance to burn for 3 seconds. And as you can see, it requires an axe, sword, hammer, staff, or polearm. So there we go. Any major weapon. Alright. You are not an enemy. I cannot click on you to kill you for fat loots. Let's click on... Does that say Rattlin? Rattlin. I was going to say Kobold, but that's okay. Rattlin works too. There we go. They die pretty quick. Just swing, decimate my opponents. And one thing I liked about this game, that I looked over in beta, I looked over all the classes for this, is this whole charge bar mechanic down here. That every class gets a charge bar, and each bar is very different. The engineer bar happens to be like a combo bar if you're familiar with rogues and Warcraft or something like that. So I gain charges by damaging my enemies up to a maximum of 5 charges. If they're available, certain skills like Flame Hammer will consume the charge to significantly increase power. Some skills will consume all charges while others help generate charges. So, and they will decay after an activity. As you've seen, there it goes. It's gone away. And that's a neat system. So the engineer has a combo bar, and I can enhance my abilities by using these combo skills. So here, if I get him, and let's go ahead and use my skill. You see there, it just went out. It consumes 1 charge to do that. And so instead of just having 1 impact, like here, I'll go ahead and use it while I have nothing. Instead of just having 1 impact, it has a total of 3. Very good. I did cover quite a bit of this in the beta, so a lot of this is, of course, old hat at this point. And of course, I'm also getting into the Torchlight scene a bit late here. So obviously, many of you probably already know how this works, but, you know, just for the sake of argument, let's assume that we don't. Simply because there may be people that haven't picked up Torchlight yet. A lot of people that have followed me started with Diablo and may like to continue with Diablo and maybe haven't considered it. And this is kind of the thing, is I talked recently in my Witch Doctor video about how this is a good time to be an action RPG fan. There are plenty of options out there at this point, and Torchlight 2 is a very good alternative. As you can see, it is very vibrant and colorful. It does play very well. I would say the combat is very smooth. There are certain things that are a little clunky at times, but for the most part, the combat does feel fantastic. It's one of those things where the combat in Diablo 3 is just done so well that it's really hard to compare to Diablo 3, because everything in Diablo 3 is so smooth and feels really good when you play. Now there's obviously other design decisions of Diablo 3 that are not as well received, but combat, I think a lot of people can agree, is just one of those things that works very well in that game. So, I've leveled. So let's look at my skills. I have 1 skill point, And this is another thing that this does well. I like this skill tree for this reason, is you don't have to put points into a skill to get another skill, right? This is one thing I did not like about Diablo 2, is you were forced to buy into low-level skills that you weren't going to use in order to get high-level skills. Now, they did later add in synergies, which was a fantastic idea, so that you could buff other skills with lower skills. But in this game, they've solved this problem by allowing you to put points wherever you want. You can see here that Seismic Slam I can unlock at level 7. Blast Cannon, 7. All of these, so basically all of these have the same level requirement, all the way up to 42 for the final ability. Once I get level 7, I don't have to have a point in Flame Hammer to get Seismic Slam. For here, I don't have to have a point in Healing Bot to get Blast Cannon. You can buy the level 7 skill the moment you get level 7, regardless of how many points you put in here. So you can build whatever character you want. Now that being said, I have a rough idea of what I want to do here. What I have here is Blitz skills, which are used for two-handed weapons typically. A lot of these are very hard hitting. You've got Ember Reach, which pulls enemies into you. Storm Burst, which kind of reminds me of Merciless Assault or Furious Charge for the Barbarian in Diablo 3. So this is based around just kind of getting in with a heavy weapon hitting hard. We've got the Aegis, which is based around sword and board. You've got two skills that require a shield. Others do not, so you could use Aegis even if you don't have a shield, depending upon what skills you use. And then of course we have Construction, which is one of the ones that fascinated me the most in beta. This is around using robots and specific mechanical skills. I wanted to go into this tree here, honestly. It was one of those things I really wanted to try, was seeing how I liked this tree. And then on the Facebook poll, I mentioned about what type of builds that were available for an engineer. And it was mentioned that cannon builds could be very interesting, and I was told that they had someone hadn't seen a true cannon build before. So I think what I want to do is go into cannons. So I'm going to go, and that works great because that means I can go into construction. Construction uses cannon skills. As you can see here, I have blast cannon and fuel sod. So I'm going to do that. But as I level, let's go ahead and pick different skills here. I don't have a shield, so I can't exactly use Shield Bash, but I can get Healing Bot. So I'll grab him. Small drone that generates energy pulses healing both me and allies. It's a healing pulse every 12 seconds, 8 meters wide, and it's 62 health over 4 seconds. Now this is something else that I like about this tree. There are abilities that you can see will increase as I level. There's a little asterisk that says improve player level. So the health on this, the bonus health on this will go up as I level. I don't have to put more points into it. But if I do, as you can see, it'll go up a few points as well. So this can be leveled both by either leveling or putting points into it, which is another thing that I think solves a problem that I had with skill trees, is that most skill trees don't level up when you level, it's only when you put points into it. So thank you very much. I am quite happy with this skill tree, quite honestly. It is one of the better ones I've seen. Alright, so to use that ability, I can either put it in my alternate skill down here, or I am thinking I'm going to put it here into slot 1. I right-clicked and used a potion by mistake. That was a bad idea. Okay, should be good. I don't really care about having my potions down here, as I can hit Z or X at any point to use those potions.
What's your business here?
Alright, very good. And I have to choose a reward. So what do I have? A tunic with 16 health, a chipped axe with 30 DPS and 4 physical, and a varmint stub, which gives physical damage to my pet. Not an easy choice. I think since I've got a cannon, I'm going to be using my cannon. Let's not pick up the weapon. I don't care about the armor. Let's give my pet something. I'll give him the varmint stub. And there we have Fame. Alright, so if I right-click that, it won't give it to my pet. I actually have to bring up the pet menu. Okay, I can just put it over there and right-click it very well. And of course I can just shift-click and automatically send something over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this cannon that I found as my primary weapon. It's got some knockback and stun, chance to stun. And I'm going to go ahead and use this wonderful weapon slot mechanic that this game has, much like D2 had. So now at any point, if I want to use my hammer, I can. So I've got this wonderful cannon. Cannons and shotguns, or shotguns as they're known in this game, are very interesting both. Fairly slow firing. And they fire in an arc, so as you can see here, I can hit multiple enemies. That's another thing I like about this game's combat, is apparently melee weapons can swing in an arc and hit everything around you. Okay, so let's summon my bot. Let him follow me around. Monster Shrine. Hello! A golden crab. Alright, let's swap weapons and go ahead and use... So this is great. At any point, I can just swap out. I've still got my first ability, the Flame Hammer. I can just swap my weapon in order to use it. So, mana is low, drink a mana potion. Alright, yeah, I've got that. Very good. So let's kind of look at this thing. Does it say it fires in a cone? This one doesn't, but most of the shotguns do. Very good. I do love the fact that I just have to walk over gold to pick it up. It's fairly new to this genre, honestly. D2, you had to pick it up. D3, I think, was the first that did that you could just walk over and pick it up, and then other games have been picking that up since. Oops, hello. Back off, Mr. Warbeast, an armored Warbeast. Doing good. So I will continue to use this cannon. I'm liking that it stuns. That's pretty cool. And if I need to, I can swap to the hammer to do a special ability on the fly for anything that happens to be tough. Yeah, see, if I right click, I can't use it here, so we'll definitely have to have the other weapon equipped.
You have become more skilled.
Alright, well, under normal circumstances, what I would do at this point would just go ahead and put another point here into Shield Bash in order to demonstrate it. But I don't have a shield. Haven't picked one up yet, so unfortunately I won't be able to do that for now. The little bot is still following me around. What happens if I do him again? Will it just resummon him, or will I have two? Okay. So that being the case, at this point, I'm going to just put another point into Flame Hammer to increase its damage. So there we go. And the beautiful thing about this is not only is it the damage going up, but the chance of its secondary ability, that chance to burn, is going up. So I'm getting a very real benefit that I can immediately see. It's not just minor increases, that's what I'm liking about it. I mean, 5% is fairly minor, but a lot of skill trees I see tend to do, 1 or 2% at a time, because obviously you have to think about the long haul and what it's ultimately going to be. In this, the skills can only go up to level 15, which is, a bit step down from Diablo 2, and that one the skills went up to 20. They could be boosted by items that increased weapon skills, but 20 was the highest they could go by themselves. We'll have to see if there's any items in this game that boost weapon skills. The locked golden chest, and this guy must be who I need to kill in order to unlock it. Let's go ahead and use my hammer ability to whittle him down, and there he goes, down already. The belt, there's my golden key. And I can now unlock my chest. Excellent. Socketable item. Imbues weapons and armors with new magical properties when inserted. Excellent. So, what have I found? Well, I've found a pistol that I can't use because I'm not level 4 and I don't have 24 dexterity. And a belt. I'm not level 6 and I don't have 13 focus. I could probably fix that, though. Alright, let us see. How is our cannon? No sockets, no sockets. Okay, so I don't have anything I can actually... I could have sworn it told me I had a socketable item at this point. Oh, I think it was just telling me I had an item I could put in the sockets. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and look at the character sheet, shall we, since we have leveled. We've got Strength, which increases all weapon damage, as well as amount of bonus damage done when performing crits. We've got Dexterity, which increases the chance to perform critical strikes, as well as dodge enemy attacks. Also increases Fumble Recovery, which, of course, Fumble is you do pitiful, piss-poor damage if you fumble. So it's kind of like a chance to miss, but worse, I guess. Because you still have a... Well, is there a 2-hit on here? You know, I didn't actually look at that. Attack speed, cast speed, critical chance, fumble chance. I guess that is your chance to hit. Because there really is no chance to hit stat in here. So I'm guessing fumble is your innate ability to miss. Alright, so dexterity will help with that. We have focus, which increases mana and elemental damage. Also increases the chance to execute, which is strike with both hands simultaneously if you're dual wielding. And we have vitality, which directly increases your hit point, armor, and the chance to block with shields. So that would be very important for sword and board build. So all these stats are actually fairly important. I mean, if Engineer seems to focus on strength here, as you can see from the 15, and vitality from the 15 plus 1. This is what I like too. If I mouse over this, I can see my innate ability, which is the 15, and any bonuses from equipment, which is the plus 1. It's not just going to say, here, well, I've got 16, I don't have to guess, well, how many of that is what I've put in myself and how much of that is equipment, because then I can plan to replace equipment if I know how much I have, which is a great idea. So, what's great about this is being ranged and using a cannon, I can actually still use strength, because that's going to help my chance to hit. I kind of want to have dex, though, too, for the fumble, recovery, and critical chance. So... let's see, let's put 4 maybe in the strength. Let's get, I'm not worried about focus because I'm not going to be dual wielding, although gaining some magic points would be nice because all my skills run on magic. So that is the one kind of thing that's, well, it depends on your point of view here. Standard ARPGs do that. A lot of them just have mana as a resource. I happen to like the fact that Diablo 3 uses multiple resource systems so that not everyone's using mana, and it makes sense for all of their classes. So in this, I just have to make sure I have mana, so I might have to put focus in at some point. Let me see. I'm thinking I'm going to want to go into dexterity because of my fumble chance, and I'm going to want to get that up here. I might want some crits. So let's put, I'm going to put 5 in the strength there. Put a couple points in the vitality, and I'll put 3 in the dex. Let's do that. That sounds good. And of course, I completely didn't pay attention to this, which requires 13 focus. That's okay, in 3 levels I should be able to use it. Alright, so let's move on. I'm not going to be using that pistol, so that'll go to my pet. Burning house. Oh, hello. Little chance to stun here. Now, having a pet is pretty cool. It's nice to have that all classes can use pets, and the fact that I can actually sell stuff in a dungeon without having to stop playing the dungeon. And if I want to, I can leave my pet with me to help me do damage. So he's actually a faithful companion, will help hurt the enemy. Of course, if he takes damage, he will flee. And we've made it to the city. This is the Enclave, where we can do the quest, warn the Asterians.
You a new recruit?
Okay, talk to the region.
Your business.
Very good.
I thank you for your warning, but it has arrived too late. This alchemist has already come and gone. and it was all I could do to prevent him from entering the Enclave. As it was, many Astharians were injured, and since the confrontation, several more have become ill. We are not sure what is causing it. After his assault failed here, the alchemist carried on southward toward the temple steps. Commander Vale and her vanquishers arrived a short while later and pursued him, hoping to prevent further damage.
Okay, so now we're going to get our golden XP. We can choose an item that we want. There's a pretty good cannon here, actually, that I should get. But for the sake of exploring, I'm going to go ahead and grab this wooden shield. And let's go ahead and look at the Aegis abilities that we have. So that way I can at least say we've gone over them and taken a look at them and how that works. So we'll go ahead and do that.
Commander Vale believes that the alchemist might attack the Wellspring Temple in an attempt to reach the Guardian of Water. For what nefarious purpose, I am afraid to speculate. There's been no word from either Vale or the Guardian. Scout the Wellspring Temple and determine if the Guardian of Water is in any danger.
Very good. We should do that.
I must be on my way soon. If the alchemist is attacking Guardians, he will be after the Guardian at the Watchwheel Temple, assuming the Vanquisher failed to stop him at the Wellspring. The Guardians are immensely powerful beings. They control the elements and thus provide for life. But they are not inviolate. A sufficiently powerful attacker could overcome them. If the alchemist was able to do so, and the threat he poses is greater than anything the world has faced since the Netherrim invasion a millennium ago.
Alright, so let us bring up these. Now that I've got a shield, I want a one-handed weapon, which... that's two-handed. Oh dear, I might have to buy one.
Welcome, friend.
Alright, let's find a shop here that will allow me to do that so we can take a look at that. Now, here's one thing I absolutely love. There's a shared stash and a regular stash. So if there's items I want only for this character, they won't clutter up a shared stash. And I can just put them in here for this character by himself. And then, of course, I've got my shared stash that I can put anything I want in there for everybody. So that's absolutely fantastic. It... allows you to keep things nice and organized. Really like that. I also like that there's a test dummy here, even though I'm doing no damage to it. It's alright. Okay, so do we have a one-handed... see, that doesn't say two-handed. Let me find something cheap. Well, I don't even need to, quite honestly. I will want to replace... I will want to get a weapon for this, because I can use this as my secondary weapon. And then just use my flame hammer with it. Alright, so let's not worry about buying something. Let's go over here to this wonderful skill respec trainer that has changed since the beta. Now,
Yes.
in the beta, you might remember, you could only remove skills when you got up to, I believe it was like level 10, it was 5 or 10 or something like that. It was a low level. You could basically respec as long as you were under a certain level, and after that point you were on your own. So what they've done is they've made it so now you can reclaim the last 3 points that you had. Which means now you don't have to, even though you've got that one skill that you start off with, right? I started with Flame Hammer. Well, I don't plan on using it. I plan on using other skills. Well, now I can actually get rid of it by coming over here and talking to this guy. So the last 3 skills that you put points into, like I'll put them all into the shield bash here so we can take a look at it. If I put another point in, a 4th skill, then I'm stuck. The first skill I put in at that point is now permanent. So this gives you, it's a good compromise, honestly. I like the fact that they've compromised on this. It's not so much that you're not going to be able to respec. At the same time, it's just enough to where you're only going to be able to try certain skills to begin with. So you can always take back the last 3 things that you put in, and if you want to try a different skill, then by all means just take out a few points, put it into the new skill, see if you like the new skill. If you don't like it, just put the points back in. So I like this. And the beautiful thing is the beginning here, you can see it costs me nothing. Later on, I have no idea how much it'll cost, but I do like this whole respec system for the beginning. So what do I have here? I have Shield Bash. Smash enemies in front of you, stunning them, slowing their attacks, and knocking them back. Damage is equal to 5 times your shield's armor value. Each charge you currently have provides an additional 10% damage bonus. Each bash generates a 0.25 charge. So basically, I can get 1 combo point by using this 4 times. Well, 5 times because it's 0.24 instead of 0.25. But you get the idea. So you use Shield Bash enough times and you'll get charges with it, and not only that, but it gets stronger as you gain charges. It gains plus 30 physical damage, has a 64% chance to stun for a second and a half, and it's got a knockback, as well as reducing enemy attack speed. So that's a very nice offensive / defensive ability there. And I kind of like it. So let's take a look at it. There you go. It's got apparently a slight charge forward. Ooh, wow, and it's pretty quick too. That's pretty impressive, actually. Of course, now I'm out of mana. But you can see there that it dashes forward very quickly, multiple times. I've already gotten a couple charges here. That is very cool, honestly. That makes me want to build a sword and board character at some point. And because I can't fully respec... Now, here's the thing. I like and dislike this at the same time, because as you know me from my Diablo series, if you watch it, I love changing my spec, and I love experimenting. Part of my Witch Doctor playthrough and just doing that is the joy of going back, stripping that character of all his skills, and giving him something else to see, will this work? Every time I level, I gain new skills. And then I can try those skills in unique and wacky ways, or whatever, and it gives me this chance to just really explore that character and experiment around. Now, it's not to say that I can't experiment in this game. I can, but unfortunately a lot of experimentation is going to require leveling characters up from the beginning, which adds to replay. Let's admit it. That does do that. Does it add replay in a super meaningful way? Maybe not. But it is there, and it is something that kept me playing in Diablo 2 for quite a long time, was rebuilding characters. Honestly, I didn't get very many high-level characters in Diablo 2 for that very reason. I was going back constantly, remaking characters, trying different builds. It worked for me at the time, and I liked it. But I kind of like the ability to have a high-level character and have my gear already, and then try different builds just by stripping him. So I can see the advantages of both. I'm not going to say either one is superior. I think I lean towards my personal preference being something like Diablo 3, but something like this is actually very well done, especially because it allows me to respec at least a few points at a time, and to just kind of try different things. So, not inherently bad. Not inherently bad. So let us go in here, and what I'm going to do then is we're going to get the healing bot. And because I really have nothing else to spend it in at the time... Oh, here we go. I like this. I didn't look at my healing bot's tier bonus. At tier 1, the energy pulse also regenerates mana. That is a fantastic boon. I'm going to want to get 5 points into that. Especially once I get Blast Cannon, because I'm going to be doing that, and that'll give me mana back. I like that. Eventually armor boost and whatnot. This is a character, the engineer, which looks like he'd be very well suited for multiplayer, although the multiple bonuses I give to party members also applies to my pet. So there is that. I'll at least still be getting something out of that. So let's see. I will want to build this up. I think for now, though, what I'm going to do is build up my flame hammer and use that as my alternative right now. And then once I level up a bit higher, I will remove it. So for now, since I don't have a one-handed weapon, I will be doing this. Excellent, excellent. So we're good there. And so with my pet here, I can't do it because I'm in town. I'll do it in the field, but I can always send my pet back to sell my items as I go along. So anything else I can do here?
Yes.
How may I help?
Welcome, friend.
Alright, I remember there being 2 guys here in the beta that would help me remove gems from an item. I believe I had the option of either recovering the item and destroying the gems, or destroying the gems, recovering the item. Which is something I believe occurred in Torchlight 1. They're not here right now. Hopefully they get unlocked later. And there's my waypoint.
You a new recruit?
Old recruit, actually. Quite old. I made that joke last time, by the way. It works for this guy because he actually looks old. Alright, so. If you're going out to the Temple Steeps, I could use your help. The Stromborn have set up a makeshift smithy there, and they've taken 2 blacksmiths making suits of armor for wild war beasts they've captured. Those Stromborn seem to be working from schematics, but they keep them under lock and key. Do you think you might be able to get in there and grab the armor schematics? Well, I think I can, good sir. I think I can.
You have a new quest.
I have a new quest, according to the guy. Alright. So here's the other thing that was very interesting in this game that carry over from Torchlight. One is fishing. Click the button, and then of course I just wait for everything to go in, and whoops, that was too late. I caught nothing because I fail. There it is. And what have I gained? I gained a big jackass. I mean jackal bass. And fish. What do fish do? Well, they transform my pet. Isn't that fantastic? So yes, I can sit here and grab a whole bunch of different fish from this fishing hole and buff my pet. Well, I've spent a lot of time talking on this video. This is kind of my intro one. I'm going to stop it right around here. That's about 45 minutes or so, which isn't bad. It's a good look at the very beginning, and it's covering a lot of the stuff I already talked about in the beta. So if you already watched the beta video, again, this is old hat. I understand that. And my apologies if it seems a little dry or a little boring because of that. But it's at this point where we kind of need to go through the very basic stuff so we can then move on to the new stuff. So I'll be continuing my playthrough. I rather like it already. I mean, as you can see, I haven't gotten that far, but I like it. I love the fact that they changed the respec. I love the fact that they've added these tier bonuses so that you can work towards a goal for these. Even if some of them are just minor passive, some of them are really interesting, like this one here, which gives you a tier 1 of increasing the bolts, a tier 2 of giving you a mobilization, and a tier 3 of reducing the cooldown. Cooldown reduction is a major thing for some skills, especially a skill like this where you're charging through. So there's a lot here that they've done right. And so I'm hoping I also expanded upon my thoughts about skill trees in a way that makes sense. Because when I said it that first time that I don't like skill trees, I didn't want it to sound like I absolutely hate the idea of them. I think that skill trees can be done very well and masterfully. And I think that this tree solves a lot of the problems I have with skill trees that I've seen in games like Diablo 2. Again, the skill tree in Path of Exile, which I'm looking forward to, that's just a completely different animal. That is nothing but passives, but it works because you still find skills through quests and drops, so it's really a completely different animal altogether. Plus, some of those passives in that tree are major game changers, so I didn't want you to think going into either of these that I was going to absolutely hate them for that reason. I am looking forward to experimenting with them. This will be quite fun, I think. So what I'm going to do here while we're out, I'm going to just get some fish so we can actually see the fish going forward, and we'll just use them. So I'm not going to record that, obviously. I don't think you need to see absolutely everything I do in this boring day-to-day toil that I do, such as fishing. Alright, so I'll stop it here. I want to thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you will enjoy the series. And of course, if you have any suggestions, comments, or anything, please, by all means, leave them. I'm very open to hearing what people might be interested in seeing as far as builds are concerned. I plan, like I said, on going through this construction tree and going with cannons. And if anyone has thoughts on what might be the best things to pick up first, please, let me know. I'll look at that. And I will, of course, respond in the comments as I can. Thank you very much. I am KageKaze, and I will see you next time.